Alright, we're back. Let's go tell the people that we completed their quest. Gnarled-off. That sounds like Gandalf mixed with something else. She's a good voice actress. I like her.
Well met.
Bad microphone. Oh, oh no, oh no, oh. I burped a little bit and then the beer taste came back. Oh, no. No, 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 no.
Now, if it isn't the prodigy, well...
Lishari performed the ritual on me. There were problems in old Roshengrad.
Yes, I know. She's already told me everything. Good work, even though part of her report seemed to be a bit... enthusiastic. But I'll leave the judgment to Aranthiel. He wants to talk to you anyway. Seems you've caught his interest.
Tell me again, who exactly is it in Enderal?
Didn't I tell you that already? He's the highly esteemed, holy Grandmaster of the Order. Tilor Aranthiel, son of Lorius I, praised be his name. An old legend, risen from the dead, or something like that.
Eventually, they'll get to the point with AI that they could voice act every line of dialogue in the game without voice actors. Like, they could get, like, it could randomly assign an accent, a tone, volume, and then have each character be voiced just, like, automatically. Like, they're getting to that point. Fine, where can I find them?
In the Emporium, the last building on the left side of the temple. Just tell the guard that Aranthiel has asked for you, and they will let you in. Ah yes, before I forget. My dame Lucy has left a token of gratitude for you. It's your choice. Do you want a book, an old map, or a bag of pennies?
+2 LP, the treasure map. Give me the... Oh wow, I don't know which one. I want them all. I'll take the stat bonus first, though.
Very well. Now get a move on. I'm sure we'll talk again later.
Could I get the map too? Alright, well, I guess I'll be back. LP is learning points, which are used for learning crafting. In this game, you can't just spam all the skills on everything. You have to actually, like, spend points on that. Alright. We are getting very, very close to leveling. Like, super close.
Let's hope he knows what he's doing.
Let's hope you know what you're doing, sir. Yeah, technically it's a Skyrim mod, but to call it a Skyrim mod just doesn't do it service because it's an entirely new game. This doesn't take place in Skyrim. It's a game that takes place in Skyrim's engine and uses a lot of their assets. But it's like, this is not Skyrim. It's not the same world. It's not the same universe. None of the lore. It's an entirely new place that's unconnected to Elder Scrolls entirely. There's no Elder Scrolls in this at all. Imagine if you just made a new game but used assets from another game to create something completely new.
I was
This guy is like the leader, so he's probably going to be important.
Mission, Teela. And to send an entire division across the sea because of a suspicion is madness.
We need to find out who sent the mercenaries.
Oh, that guy's nice.
This Pegast said that they were after the Signet Stone,
His
and
voice
if they
is great.
succeed in getting hold of it next time, then the Black Guardian alone knows how to stop the cycle.
The cycle. Listening to you talk almost makes me forget that all this fuss here is merely based on some bad dreams you and your Neremese friends had.
The threat is real. Deny it as much as you like, but deep inside, you feel it as much as I do.
Tila, you're a commander, and a commander doesn't care about feelings, but about facts. You have made this mistake before,
Well,
Tila.
not nowadays.
Then in Kira.
Natara,
Oh, no.
the mission will happen. I'm sorry.
You have a visitor.
So, you are the prodigy everyone is talking about. Interesting. I am Teola Aranthia, son of Lorius I and Grandmaster of the Order, and I'm honored to meet you. What is your name?
Could you just keep talking, because that voice is like soothing hot butter, like pouring over some hot bread or something like that. Is so soothing. I'm Dan. You want to see me?
Yes, and I will come straight to the point. You are here because I believe that you are special. Humanity faces a threat that needs to be stopped, and to achieve this, you are indispensable.
Talking about the Red Madness, aren't you?
Among other things, yes. I do not need to explain to you that the present situation on Veen is chaotic. The wars, the living dead, common people who are losing their minds, to name only the most obvious. What most people are not aware of is the connection between these events. You, however, have encountered it, as have I.
The visions, you know where they come from?
I do. And I will explain everything to you. What it means, who we are, and what your part in all of this is. Come, follow me. Maybe you already know who I am. My entire life, I served the gods who ruled Vin, until their death 2 years ago. What you probably do not know is that the one responsible for their death is my son, Narazul Aranthia. He hated the Lightborn because he believed that they robbed mankind of their right to freedom, so he strived to overthrow them. He found followers, formed an army and declared war on them, and thus on me, a servant of the Lightborn as well. It all ended in a battle 30 years ago, which Narazul won. He killed every single survivor except for me, and locked me in a dungeon on Nerim. I still do not know why he spared me.
I mean, listen to your voice. How could he not? If Ner'zhul was your son, why did he hate the gods so much? Shouldn't he have been, I don't know, devoted to them?
There were circumstances favoring the development. But it's a long story, which we won't discuss now.
So the Lightborn are really dead? If you, the Order of the Gods, acknowledge that fact, why do people not know about it?
Good question. Because at the moment, stability is the highest good. Even more so considering what we are facing. The rulers of Kira and Kile both made the mistake to acknowledge the death of the gods to their people, and the civil wars that followed in their countries are evidence of the chaos that such a revelation entails. Enderal is the cradle of the Order of the Gods, the epitome of theocracy. It is unthinkable what would happen if we confirmed these rumors. I am sure you understand this. Maybe when all this is over that will change, but for now it is imperative that we deny all rumors of that kind.
Oh, this voice actor died. And he did both the English and the German voice acting for this. So in Germany, are people are taught both English and German when they're kids? So that way they're fluent in both? But you managed to free yourself.
Yes, after more than 30 years, when the death of the gods made the magic around the prison disappear. And during my escape in the northern mountains of Nerim, I also had them for the first time, the dreams.
It all starts with the dreams. Just helping myself to a few goodies before I leave. Empty strongbox, of course. I am just stocking up on provisions for the journey I'm gonna have to take. If you want me to save the world, you gotta fork over some cash to fund my expedition, okay? Tired of all these people expecting me to pay to save the entire world, and then, like, for free, just do it. And then they want to, like, charge me for weapons and stuff. Like, come on. I have fees. Like, I would gladly save the world, but I at least need you to sub with Prime Gaming, sir. Or something, you know, a pittance. Throw me something. I got needs. I got expenses. Don't come free.
I always saw the same glaring, terrible light. Heard screaming, and I felt like I was burning up from the inside. And above all, like a veil, there was the knowledge of imminence. At first, of course, I dismissed these dreams as the delusion of a man close to death. So I concentrated on making it through the mountain.
He walks faster than I walk, and slower than I run. So I gotta keep doing the... Why do developers do that?
Somehow. 2 days after my escape, I was completely exhausted, and I would have died if a former acolyte of my son had not found me.
Acolyte of your son, but weren't your enemies then?
Yes, but he did not recognize me, and brought me to their headquarters instead, an old monastery in the mountains. The others were aware of my identity, but for whatever reason they did not kill me. Maybe because they thought that the death of the Lightborn had made me insignificant. I do not know. Still, even after my recovery, the dreams continued. At first, I doubted my sanity, but after some time I told the leader of the mages, Constantine, about them. He said something that I'd never expected. I was not alone. He, as well as many others magically gifted on Vin, dreamed the same dreams. And the more we talked about the matter, the stronger our suspicion grew, which has now turned out to be the truth. The dreams, they come from the same place. They are a shared memory.
Ma'am! Madam! That's my quest giver! Stop it! A shared memory? You mean the dreams originate from a common mind?
A collective subconscious, yes. I know that you can feel it too, and probably far more intense than we do. But like you back then, we were not able to make sense of the images. So we went looking for answers.
Can you push him
in
back,
the
sir?
remains of the civilization that was before us. The Pyreans.
Thus the excavations of like the old ration guard. What did you find out?
3 things. First, there were many civilizations before us and before the Pyreans. maybe hundreds, maybe thousands. Second, the history of each civilization unfolded and still unfolds according to a pattern. They emerge, they blossom, and at some point, at the apex of their existence, they simply disappear without any trace. And third, everything that has happened in the past years, and which is still happening, indicates that this disappearance lies ahead of us. We are part of an eternal loop, a cycle, and our cycle is approaching its end.
So it's gonna Enderal. More. A pattern? You mean that chronicles of each civilization are identical?
Not identical, but one can split them up into episodes which repeat themselves in the very same manner, into patterns.
So this is your explanation for the Red Madness, the wars?
Yes, dramatically put, they're the envoys of the end.
You mean the end of humanity lies ahead?
Yes, it does. At first we considered it absurd, as probably you do at this moment. But there came a moment when we simply could not deny it anymore. We began to study the history of the Pyreans more intensely, and the parallels were extraordinary. In its early days, the Pyrean Empire was split up by a disaster, just like Vin was split up by the Starfall after the reign of the Eterna. Also, the Pyreans had a ruling caste who declared themselves gods after the catastrophe. The two castes of the Sun Priest. They, too, ruled until they were overthrown. This overthrowing was followed by an outbreak of wars and chaos. And then, just like that, the Pyreans ceased to exist. They knew it was imminent, but they could not prevent it. They called this event the Cleansing.
Like a juice diet? The Pyreans knew about this threat? Why didn't they try to do something about it?
They tried, but they failed. Who knows why? Maybe they found out too late, or maybe they were too weak.
How in the blazes can an entire civilization just disappear?
That is the question we need to find an answer to. The end was not violent, at least not in a sense as we know it. There was no natural disaster, no magical explosion, no plague. Even though there was war in the Pyrean Empire before its ruin, when the cleansing happened, it was as if all living beings simply fell down and died. It is ghastly.
And where do I come in? Where do these visions and my powers come from?
Well, this is the reason why we need your help. Not only episodes of history recur within every cycle, characters do as well.
Characters recur?
Yes, the Pyreans call them the emissaries. They emerge very shortly before the cleansing occurs, like a law of nature, an answer to the Red Madness. And I am one of them, as are you. While I take on the role of the ruler, you take on the role of the prophet.
I love prophet.
It's just a description. Call it what you will. But without doubt, it is the truth. Your story matches the descriptions perfectly.
And I take it this is the reason Nimri's mages are here, isn't it? Firespark, Pegas, Skyrim?
Yes. Former enemies or not, both sides have understood the magnitude of the threat. The magical knowledge of Narazul's former mages is vast, as is the power of the Holy Order. Even though not all of the Keepers agree, as you probably have already noted yourself.
And why me of all people?
I do not know. Firespark the mage has told me your story. And even though your fate is tragic, unlike me, you were insignificant before your change. So maybe everyone can become an emissary, or we simply have not understood the pattern yet.
If I play a role, does that mean that something is controlling me, controlling us?
No. As I already said, the emissaries simply appear at the beginning of the end, like pieces on a chessboard. We are determined by our skills. How and to what end we use them is our choice.
And what defines this profit?
On the one hand, your power. You carry the potential to master any skill within a fraction of the usual time needed. I assume you have already realized this. On the other hand, your ability to look into the past, and therefore into the future.
Into the past and therefore into the future? What do you mean?
Your visions are a window into the past. And as every cycle is based on the same events, it is a window into the future as well. You can feel the thread this world is woven with. And because of that, you can see things that have happened, and thus will happen again. This gift makes you indispensable to us, and it is why I want your help.
Why do you think that we can overcome the cycle in the first place? After hundreds of civilizations have failed.
That is the wrong question. The correct question is, what alternative do we have? To wait and die?
What's in it for me if I help you?
If it is wealth and power you seek, you will have it. The Order has enough of both.
What? That was a long one. This is not a decision I want to make based on a gut feeling. Give me some time.
Very well. I await your answer.
That I was not expecting that to be that song. Okay, sorry. I didn't know what that button did. Apparently my character was very excited. Yeah!
Well, have you made your decision?
And what if this doesn't interest me?
Hollow words. Deep inside, you know your responsibility. Trust me, we are more alike than you believe.
Alright, if I can help, I will try to do so.
Good. However, there's one more thing before the actual work begins. I want you to join our order, and to do so, you have to pass a test. A trial.
Join your order? Is that really necessary?
It is. Whatever you think about our story, we are the only faction that is strong enough to oppose the cycle. If you want to be part of our mission, you need to have access to our knowledge and resources. There will be voices in the Order speaking against your admission, as they are speaking against the presence of the Neremese mages. Consider it an honor or a necessity. It is up to you.
What kind of test?
It is the trial the novices have to pass in order to be exalted to the role of a keeper. Only the best students of the Squalor are allowed admission, and even though you have not been a novice, I want you to take it too. At this very moment, 2 novices are on their way to the testing grounds. I have informed them about your arrival.
Who are the 2 novices?
I have only a slight acquaintance with them. However, I know that they are both very talented and have been working hard toward the test. But see them for yourself.
You've already informed them. How could you know that I'd agree?
I had a hunch. Let us leave it at that.
Very well, where can I find them?
At the border to the Heartland, near the Whisper Wood. They will be waiting for you there. Take the Myret, talk to Signet Master Bartar, and hand him this package. And then follow his orders. Ah, one more thing. It might be self-evident, but keep your knowledge about the death of the Lightborn to yourself. I do not believe you can do any real harm, But in the worst case, path-abiding people will consider you a heretic. After the cycle has been stopped, we will deliberate upon how we deal with the matter. If and how we tell our people about it. But not now, that is for sure. Now, leave. The sooner we can dispense with this formality, the better.
Well, thank you, sir. Level up, maybe? There's no shouts in this game. That voice actor was phenomenal. Just really good.
My Sir de Luna. And I fell for it. Well, seems the Grandmaster is crazy for you. So who am I to question his judgment?
Yeah, that's right, ma'am.
Huh?
Hello, are you...
Now look at that. It's the
That's
prodigy.
beyond me.
How'd you end up in Nerizaldra's order?
Now look at that. Someone who's actually interested in us as people, rather than in our knowledge about the Pyreans. But it's your lucky day. I really wouldn't mind a good talk right now. Hold on a second. Arizalian brandy. Vintage 8214. What do you say? A glass and a good talk? There are a couple of things I wanted to ask you anyway.
Sounds good to me.
All right then.
Fade to black. Are we gonna have a drink and discuss some formalities?
When I hear you say that, I don't regret for a second that I never came back to Ostian. Even though I've thought about it from time to time.
You're from Austin. You look more like a Skarak to me.
Wow. Finally, someone who says it up front. Yeah, I've got some Scarag blood in me, though comparably little in regards to how much it shows. My grandfather, he used to serve in the South Realms Marines. And one day they captured a ship of Scarag raiders, some of them women. Stories say he fell in love with one of them, and yeah, you can connect the dots. But to answer your original question, yes, I'm from Ostian. Though we fled the city around 10 years ago. The right choice, as I probably don't need to tell you. The temple was always a bunch of fanatical fuckheads, but that bastard
Whoa.
High Priest Janus gave the word butcher an entirely new meaning.
One more thing about your ancestry. Do you know anything more about that woman your grandfather fell in love with? It's not an everyday story.
I know, and nah, I hardly know anything about her. Only that they were raiders and that she fled about 2 years after giving birth to me. Poor Grandpa. You should have seen how people reacted to the way I looked. Even as a kid, they always looked at me and my almond-shaped eyes as if they were expecting me to pull out a skull fetish any second and start putting curses on anyone in the vicinity.
Honestly, I'm not too surprised about what Janus did. Give someone too much power, and they show their real face.
Maybe. Warriors of the Creator. War against the infidels. The Creator's children don't even sugarcoat how radical their faith is anymore. And still, so many people join their ranks. It's fucking insane. But then again, I guess that's religion for you. Don't think for yourself anymore. Let someone else do it for you.
True.
At least it was for my brother.
Truth bombs. You have a brother?
I had. He was about 15 years older than me, and was always a troubled child. Rakul. That was his name. You know, my family was very wealthy before we fled. Drapers for generations. The best in Ostian. I suppose that's why my father expected so
Sir.
much from Rakul, since I, as a woman, wouldn't have been allowed to take over the business when my father would have retired. But Rakul, he just wasn't made out for it, you know? He was shy and introverted, and never had a hand for money. I can't remember how often Father told him that he was a disgrace to the family.
And then he found his faith and joined the Creator's children?
You can call it that, yes. Looking back, I think the temple only gave him what Father wouldn't. A perspective. The feeling of being needed. He spent almost all of his time in the temple after his conversion, and knew the entire Rania, their holy scripture, by heart. Well, in one day, he announced that simply attending the masses wasn't enough anymore. He would join the temple's warriors.
Sounds like your father miserably failed as a parent.
Come on. My brother wasn't the only young man with a difficult past. That's no excuse for anything.
Shit!
Of course, my father is to blame too, but the real culprits are these bastards called preachers who exploit the vulnerability of people like him and indoctrinate them with their fucking bullshit. And once that's done, they send them to fight for their holy causes. In other words, their own interests, like pawns on a chessboard. And if they die, then they call it a fucking honor. I'm sorry, my dame. Your youngest son just died. But don't worry, he's in a better place now, eating grapes and drinking honey. What solace, isn't it? Now, do you have any other neglected children for us? We're running short on material. Damn it, I hate those bastards. I just hate them so much.
She's a little mad. And I'm supposed to... I suppose that's what happened to your brother, too? He died fighting for the Creator?
He was slaughtered, hacked into pieces by Chancellor Baratheon's cavalry. That was before the peace treaty. I'd be surprised if they taught him what end of a lance to stab with before they sent him into the field. But, well, I guess that answers the question you asked me up in the temple, doesn't it? I was sick of seeing people using religion for their own ends. Creator, Lightborn, the Great Spirit. Same shit, different name. And you know what? No matter how much chaos the death of the gods caused, I don't regret being a part of it, not in the least. It was the right thing to do.
Can we all type Dan Ew at that guy? He's belped like 3 times already. Quite the story.
Anyway, I'd say we call it quits for now, okay? It was good talking to you, but I'm dying for a nap. Take care.
Thank you. A fine drink. Oh, I got it. This game has Steam achievements. Wow.
Yes?
Where do you come from?
Well, aren't you quite straightforward? Most people wouldn't dare ask. I'm a half Quirian, as you've probably guessed, but I grew up here. If I may say so, there's something foreign about you as well.
You may. I'm Neramis, landed here recently.
Ah, a Neramis? A rare sight these days. I'd like to ask what brought you here, but the innkeeper will cut my pay for each minute I don't play music.
Goodbye.
Now, a good pipe of peace, man. Jesus, why is that stuff so expensive?
Well.
The best wine in all of Enderal. Come, give it a try.
Yeah. Where is our friend? Jaspar, that guy. He's in the Dancing Nomad. Of course he had to get one last one.
King.
Thank you, Maninja, for gifting us...
Dark as the sun, light as the night.
Oh, thank you, Memorian, for gifting us up to Maninja. And Jerry X, right? Thank you for the 95-month resub. Wow, it's gray out here.
From the velvet sky,
It is like super, super gray. What the heck? Wait a minute. That is in the marketplace. Let's go to the marketplace. Grouch, thank you for the 40-month resub. Where is Jaspar? He is... Looks like there's an alleyway over here. What's in there? Don't sigh at me, ma'am. Not happy to see you either.
Walk blessed.
I always walk blessed.
Good evening.
Okay, he's in here. The dancing nomad.
She-Ra.
Move along.
Where? He's supposed to be in here, but...
As I said, the offer stands. Just think about it.
I will.
What? I heard him.
As I said, the offer stands. Just think about it, okay?
No, he's not with the booby lady.
As I said.
Yes, you should go into the wizard.
Just think about it, okay?
I will. Take care. Hey, you came. Come on, take a seat.
Okay, as long as they stop playing that music so loud, please.
Hard times these are. Hard times.
So, tell me, how are you holding up? It must have been quite the whirlwind. Yesterday, a refugee from another country, and now a prodigy with a magic great enough to impress old Bushybeard.
Honestly, I'm trying to make sense of it all this.
Good luck with that. I'm quite curious to see how things keep on with you. You're different. I noticed that the time we met. Anyhow, tell me, what do you make of this country now that you've had some time to look around?
I love the
figure it
guy
must
with the
be quite
red
the
beard.
change from
Look how
now.
sassy he dances. I love it. Fierce.
Shoot. Yeah, I can picture that. You know, this is exactly the reason why I love inns so much. The sky can rain fire out there. In here, you'll always meet laughter and good humor. Not to mention all the good-looking men and women.
Some of the men are not to be scoffed at, indeed.
Absolutely. Though I think I've seen enough of this place by now. Of Enderal, I mean. There's a ship sailing for Calais next morning, and as it seems, it will be the last one for quite some time to come. Who knows? Maybe they still have a cabin to spare for a handsome treasure hunter.
What? You want to leave in spite of all that's happening?
Oh well. This entire thing was more a coincidence than planned anyhow. The Order needed someone with skill and discretion. I was around. End of story. I never intended to stick around for much longer. Heck, me as an ambassador of the Holy Order, could you imagine that? Not one step further, O fair maiden. Drop your garment so we may both bathe in Malphas's holy light. Actually not that bad, don't you think?
Very convincing.
Well.
Oh, you're too kind. But you know, at the end of the day, I guess I'd probably lack both the pathos and the idealism for such a profession. You know, I'm aware of how these esteemed keepers up there talk about sellswords like me. I could save 30 virgins from a Myrid on Rampage. At the end of the day, they'd always say I did it for the money, because I wanted to bed the women, or whatever. I'm driven by inferior motives. While no matter what their actions end in, they are good guys, because they do things for the right reasons. If only they'd understand that it's results that matter, not intentions. What does the wise hermit say? Nothing is of less importance to the saved than the reason for their rescue. The only difference between a mercenary like me and a holy warden is that I'm at least aware of the fact that I do what I do for myself, and no one else.
What exactly are you trying to say?
I'm trying to say that all those heroes and self-declared messiahs are no better than everyone else. In the end, we are all selfish, because we always act in accordance to what we think we have to be like. So yes, maybe the keeper saves the farmer from the bandits. But at the end of the day, he does it because he sees himself in a certain light. You know, the funny thing is that a lot of times, it's especially those who think of themselves driven by a higher purpose who are the really dangerous ones. They don't understand what drives them, and that makes them easy to manipulate. The only thing left to do for the capable hate-monger or tyrant is to somehow combine his own ambitions with the mental image of this person. And presto, you've got your perfect puppet, only waiting to dive into the next hail of arrows for their honor, their religion, or whatever they thought of this time. It's just so idiotic, you know? The world would be a much better place if everyone could just acknowledge that the only reason we're here is that we want to be happy.
If I was Bethesda, I would hire this entire team that made this entire game and have them work on Elder Scrolls 6, because obviously they can take the assets and stuff and the writing and just go way beyond anything Elder Scrolls ever did, using all the same material and stuff. Like, the environments and writing in this is so good. Like, holy crap. There's sense in that, I'll admit.
Really? I was half expecting you to throw insults at me. That's what people usually do when I tell them that. But I guess life is full of surprises. Anyway, I'll take my leave now. I very much enjoyed our talk, but the ship to Killet leaves before the first cocks crow tomorrow, and I want some more time to think about it.
For what it's worth, I wouldn't mind if you stayed. The city needs more good-looking mercenaries.
Well, it most recently gained a good-looking Aramis man. Maybe that'll make up for when I leave. Keep your chin up.
Oh, we in. Oh, we're in. We are so in right now. Oh, sir. God, did you not?
May your path always be even.
My sir?
May your path always be even. I was like, ew, I don't want to hear your sloppy burps, please. If we could not do that, that would be great. No, there it is. I need to go back to that wanted poster and turn in my quest to get the next one. That was I know that was a chunky one. We will not be saying anything about Elder Scrolls 6 until probably long after Starfield or Starfall or whatever they're called. Starfield, I think, comes out, or we at least see something from that game. Probably after that releases, we'll start seeing stuff Elder Scrolls 6. It's going to be a while. Yeah, this city feels so alive and full and deep and big, and unlike every city in Skyrim.
Things settle themselves.
Alright, let's see. Wanted an arc. Oh wait, I can click on that again to get another quest. Where was that? I ran away. Search for a bounty. Malleus was a stowaway himself in a ship from near him. He was discovered in the harbor, overwhelmed the captain of the ship, and killed 3 recruits of the city guard on his way through the city, only to hole up the other city. I have to kill him, retrieve the bounty. There are 200 Enderalian pennies issued for his death. Thank you. Oh, yes. I'm going to go ahead and get off here for today, guys. I'll be back on tomorrow. You guys have a good night. Thank you for being here. We'll play some more of this tomorrow.
Huh?
Appreciate y'all being
amazing. Can I help you?
Could you get that out of my face? I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thank you all.